Hey, it's Becca with Rebecca Reed Creative, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a blog on Showit and on WordPress, which is the blog platform that Showit uses. So follow along. Starting off, you just log into your Showit backend of your website, and if you come down here, you will see the blog templates. If you have a template version of Showit, so you can just click on that, and on the back end of Showit, all you're doing is designing the blog. You are not going to see correct content. Usually the photos will not be your photos, but that's fine. You don't need to change it out. It's not allowing me to click on this. You just need to get the design to be how you want it. And this is where you are creating your blog post. So if you want to edit the menu, to do that, you can, if you click on blog and then click on page, this is where you can edit or add things. So these three little dots, you can click add new canvas. And if you have already created like your homepage, for example, I will just usually go into my homepage because I've usually already created the canvas for like my header and my footer. And so I want that to be the same on every single page. So this is my header up here, you can see it. And so I would just click on home navigation menu and click add. And then I would come back to this page and click on mobile menu, which you can't see because you have to have it on mobile, and click add. And then I would come and do the mobile close menu, click add. The footer, click add. So that's how you are adding those canvases. And you want, in order to make sure that it is a canvas, if you look, you can kind of see that these have little stripes on them. That shows you it's a canvas. So the reason you want it to be a canvas is because if you make a change to that header or the footer, you want it to be the same across the board. And if it's a canvas, that will happen. It'll be the same across the board. So just, if you're seeing, oh, that doesn't have the little, lines across it, you can just click on it and then click on the three little dots and convert to site canvas. And that'll make it a site canvas so it's the same on every page. So I would just go in and add those site canvases if you don't already have them in there. And then it's just a matter of going in and clicking, changing up the photo. So right here I have a kind of overlay, so I have to drag it down. But you click on the photo, and if you double click on it, this is a gallery, so I could put in multiple images if I wanted, and then you just have to save it. So I'm not going to go through exactly how to edit everything because everyone has different templates that they're working with, but this is what it will look like. So again, you don't really need to change this content because this will automatically pull from your blog. But what you will want to change is if you have categories, you might want to add or edit them to be applicable to what your business is. And then again, just going in and making any changes. So these are going to be the recent posts. It looks kind of funky right now because it's just a white space, but what's going to happen is this little block image is going to be repeated for each blog post. And then I have a side bar, and so I would go in and just, link up each of these. So to link anything on Showit, you just click on the little icon. My computer is being very slow today. And then once you've clicked on it, see if it wants me to do this. Then you would go down to click actions right here, and you would copy and paste the URLs. So this particular client doesn't have a YouTube, so I'm just going to delete that. They don't have a, so now we are down to the three things that this specific client has. I'll center it, and then I would go ahead and link each of those things. So that is how you set up this blog page. Again, if this is a footer, again, if you kind of like hover over, you'll see those diagonal lines. So I don't really need to make any changes there. And then just make sure you always click publish. So the next step is to go on to the back end of WordPress. So to do that, you would type in whatever your domain name is, and then WP-admin. Once you enter your your username and password, you go on to the back end of WordPress. And so all you need to do, Showit will set up most of all this. You'll just come over to posts, and you can go to all posts, and you probably will not have a post yet, but you can add a new one by clicking this, or add new. Most likely if you're using Showit, they'll create your first post. So you could always just go in there and edit that one as well. But go into add new, and I'll show you kind of the run through of what I do when I'm creating a blog post. So obviously the first thing to do is to add a title that is full of keywords that your niche audience may use to search for you or your business. But make sure it's an organic, normal title, that like a normal sentence, right? You're not just stuffing photographer in West Virginia, whatever photographer. Like, you're making it a real sentence, if that makes sense. So you add that title in, and photo shoot places in the Grand Tetons, Wyoming. And then you start up here, and you can start creating the blog post, create like the header or your main text, and then I usually click enter, and I will do a read more link. Sometimes this makes a difference and sometimes it doesn't, but it never hurts, if that makes sense. So I usually do that, and then I will go in, and it's time to continue to add photos and images. So you always want to have headings, because that makes it the readability. I have a blog all about improving the readability of your website, so I will link that below. But you want to have headings, so place number 1, and then you describe it, and maybe you want a photo. To do that, you just click plus and add an image, or if you would prefer, you can add a gallery and put a couple images, right next to each other. So you just upload it or go to your media library, and in here will be all the photos you've uploaded. You can just click a few of them, click create new gallery, and you can reorder them. I would suggest editing the title so that your image, you can either do this in WordPress or you can do it before you even upload it. But you want a title that is full of keywords as well. So if you're talking about the Grand Tetons, maybe the title is photographer in the Grand Tetons, or engagement shoot in the Grand Tetons. So make sure that you're adding that. That's going to help with SEO as well. And then you just continue to do, place number 2. You can click enter, do another heading. So the main thing I'm using is headings, paragraph, and then image or gallery, but there are a lot of other things. So at the end of your blog post, it's great to have a call to action. Maybe you have other blog posts you would recommend, or maybe you want them to go to your services page. So this is a great time to add a button, and you can change the color of the background right here. You can make it a gradient, solid. I would just do a custom color, maybe put in whatever is the hex code of your business, I guess. If you want to center that, you can align it by clicking on this. And then if you want to just look, you can see there's a lot of other common blocks. So if you have a quote or a video you want to put in, or an audio, that's where you can add those blocks in and just upload it. So it's very easy, as well as tables, custom HTML. These are all things that you can add in. If you want a photo next to a text, you can always search for it, or if you go under layout elements, right here is media and text. If you want some space in between, your headings or whatever, you can add a spacer block and change the size of that as well. And again, I don't use a lot of these things. Maybe you want some social icons at the bottom. And then embedding, if you have a YouTube video or anything you want to embed, that's where you would do that. So once you are done with creating the blog post, it is time to go over here, and you can add a category. So the reason this is important is because if you looked up here on the Showit website, I had categories, right? So I want them, if they click on personal, all of the blogs that are about personal to pull up. Well, in order to do that, you have to come over here and make sure that you add the category personal or whatever category it goes under. And then tags, you can add multiple tags. So I really try to just do one, maybe two categories if it's super relevant. But for tags, you can add multiple. So if it's a personal about anxiety relief and whatever, add in all the tags that are applicable. And then make sure that you set a featured image, because that is also what is going to pull in right here. So if you don't have a featured image, it's not going to pull that. And you can always look right here and see, okay, what is it pulling? It's pulling a category, it's pulling the title, it's pulling an excerpt. So that first, like the first thing you wrote, this up here is going to be the excerpt. If you want to change that, you can always go right here to excerpt and add that in. And then those are the things I create on that side of things. If you want to change any blocks or whatever, you can come over there. And then that is pretty much what I do. Just make sure that your photos are tagged, that you're using descriptive keywords up here. And that's all going to help with your search engine optimizations, that people can then find your blog. Phew, that was a lot. But I hope you guys found it helpful. And if you did, please give it the thumbs up. This helps me to determine which content you guys prefer to see. And like I said, I will link some helpful blog articles below. I also have a free SEO checklist that you can get, and I'll link that below as well.